We got some good stuff. Now this chapter on its own, I would say in comparison to other chapters, probably doesn't stack up. Like it's not as good as some of the best chapters we've gotten in Wano. But when you think about setup, it's pretty damn good. It's really continuing a lot of the things we care about, a lot of things that we wanted to see, just quite honestly. And it's introduced some new perspectives. We got about 8 or 9 chapters left this year, right? Max. And something I was thinking about is Oda talking about Shanks making his move. Now the question I have for you guys, do you think Oda shows that Shanks made a move in the next 8 to 9 chapters? Doubtful, but if he doesn't, then did he lie to us? You know, I'm not sure. We gotta wait and see. But speaking of making moves, now's the time to make that move to the subscribe button. Click it, drop a like, turn on post notifications. That would greatly help me out. And now without further ado, let's get to the chapter, man. All right, so One Piece chapter 1027. Now this Roger and the Lion panel, or at least the cover request, I thought it was pretty dope. It felt Luffy-esque. I mean, of course, Roger is older and came first, but it felt like something Luffy would do. And the reason why it resonated so much because, well, obviously we've been traveling with Luffy. So, you know, that's why I make that correlation. But I think the dopest thing about it is that Roger, he could have destroyed the lion if he wanted to, but he decided to run away, right? It's just, of course, it's some humility and just the jovial nature of Roger and how he was. So I really like that. I mean, the lion does look hilarious, so I understand him running away laughing. I think seeing Shanks and Buggy up in the tree as well was dope. Just a really wholesome cover story. The more we get from the Roger pirates, and we know this ain't canon, but this is something I 100% see happening or has happened. So this was dope. I really enjoyed that cover art request. Something it got me thinking about though was when is going to be the next cover story, right? The last cover story, I believe, was the Capone stuff. I remember when the last cover story was going on, I was like, all right, when is this gonna end, man? And now it's over. I'm just like, all right, when's the next cover story, right? Because the cover stories, they're canon. So more canon material, you can't complain about that. But people were literally complaining about the last canon cover story. So it is what it is, man. Without further ado though, let's get to One Piece chapter 1027 because it was a doozy. We had a bunch going on and now it's time to break it down, all right? But hopefully you got your popcorn or your coffee or your tea and you're ready to get to it. All right, what is this setting up, right? When you look at it and you understand what's going on, what is this? What is Oda trying to set up right now? It's an early comparison between some of the greats, which I really enjoy. I thought that was really dope. But it starts off with Carrot hugging somebody again. Yo, Carrot keep hugging people and not doing anything else. Like everything she's been doing, just hugging. Bro, go do something. Go be useful. Like at this point, I think Carrot's gonna join the crew as the official hugger. Like every time somebody does something, Carrot's gonna hug them as a reward. And that's gonna be her role on the crew. Jesus Christ, Carrot. And the thing is, I don't hate Carrot. It's just, she's just there sometimes. So the scene with Nekomamushi, Carrot, and Wanda, it's kind of easy to get that scene misconstrued because you can probably think it's Nekomamushi saying all this, but it's definitely Yamato. Like when you follow it, it's Yamato thinking these things. But the comparison I mentioned was they were talking about Whitebeard and Roger, right? And of course they had some amazing clashes back in the day. Yamato, obviously she read the journal, so she's thinking back to some of those moments that mentioned in the journal. So this gives us some insight in regards to what she read in the journal. I thought that was cool. In the journal, it talked about the clashes between Whitebeard and Roger. So getting some insight in regards to what Oden wrote down, it may tell us more about what's to come. For real. Because I think Oden wrote down everything he admired, everything that was surprising to him, things that resonated with him. For the most part, we know how much he was enamored with Roger and Whitebeard. He called them both great, right? In different ways, but they're both amazing men. And I don't mean it in that way. He just thought they were phenomenal for different reasons. Whitebeard being the amazing family man, and for Roger, of course, being the trailblazer, the adventurer, somebody that was willing to push the envelope every single time. So with that, they were amazing men in his eyes. But also we gotta remember, that first time Roger interacted with Oden, he sent him flying with a Conqueror's Haki coded attack. And for Whitebeard, we saw the devastation that followed him. So the splitting of the heavens, that was phenomenal to Oden because even though he had Conqueror's Haki, that moment never happened with him. He clashed with Whitebeard and Roger. That didn't happen. So for them clashing and that happened, it's showing Oden, okay, I'm a pretty strong dude. Like, I'm not weak at all. Like I can lift a bit, but that's next level. They're splitting the heavens and clearing the clouds. The last chapter I mentioned, I thought that was a very unique way to do it. Having the split be the reason why Nekomamushi and Inarashi won, right? So in a way, Luffy making those promises to take down some of those characters, it's fulfilled because y'all would have lost if Luffy didn't do that. So I really appreciated that a lot, not gonna lie. It seems like everybody's being rocked by it though because they're asking what's going on with the tremors, right? They thought Whitebeard was back or some shit or Blackbeard is showing up. But nah, don't worry, it's just Luffy and Kaido going crazy. To Yamato though, there's so much speculation about her strength, how strong she is fighting Kaido, people taking away from her strength, people trying to place reasons as to why she's doing as well. And I think they're valid reasons for all these different arguments, right? But one thing we know for sure, if she had continued fighting Kaido, she'd have died, right? Kaido's on a completely other level and the story's showing, okay, she can hang with Kaido for a bit for whatever reason you think she could. But now we're seeing the after effects of her fighting her dad, right? She thought she could take the Thunder Bagua. Now she looking like Zoro. She got one eye open. But she accomplished her goal. The goal was to hold off Kaido till Luffy got back up there. So hats off to Yamato. I think she's dope in regards to strength. And quite honestly, I hope we see more from her past Wano. Okay, I'm kind of biased, okay? Because a side boob every single chapter if she's a part of the crew, not arguing against that. But also that level of strength, nothing to scoff at. But not a Momonosuke. Again, I see people complaining about him and his attitude. People, y'all gotta understand, Momonosuke is still a kid. Yes, he's in an adult's body, but he's still a kid. All these things he has to overcome mentally as a kid. He's already acting grown up, but at the end of the day, he don't know what titty's really about. Okay, what I mean is he has to experience things, right? And that's what's gonna happen in his life. Even though he's a grown adult, he has to go through these experiences. And after that, he can evaluate situations better. In a way, Yamato and Momonosuke is probably the worst pairing you could make, because Yamato for the most part has been stagnant her entire life due to her father, right? And because she's wanted to be Oden, I mean, her entire life has revolved around that. So in regards to experiences, not so much that she can provide, but she is older, she has lived that long, so she can aid him. And I think going forward in the story, they're probably going to be inseparable. They probably might just get married, and probably some Yama bros walking around at some point, but they're going to be inseparable because Yamato's going to feel like she got to protect Momonosuke because she's on her Oden tip, which at this point it is what it is. A lot of us are hoping she grows out of it and she becomes a mature adult and understand that she can only be Yamato, whomever that may be. But I think so far she's doing an amazing job in regards to being a protector and kind of carrying on Oden's will, doing what Oden would have done. But the great thing in One Piece is that it shows you and it tells you, for the most part, inherited will doesn't necessarily revolve around becoming a person, right? You can inherit somebody's will without becoming them, just in the way you live. That goes a long way in regards to fulfilling that standard of what it means to carry on somebody's will. Sabo's not trying to be Ace, Sabo's trying to be Sabo, but he's 100% inherited Ace's will. The way he lives, and shoot, the way he dies, people are gonna remember Ace. He's inherited that will. So is Luffy. In Naruto, you know, the will of fire, it's a real thing. And what Yamato's done, maybe a bit too far. But anyway, I thought that panel with Kaido trying to go after Yamato, Momonosuke, and Luffy came and wrapped his leg around Kaido's neck like some weird sexual rubber position. I thought it was dope because the face he made after Yamato asked him that question is typical Luffy. It's one of those faces that we're reading and we're smiling the entire time because we're like, man, that's our Luffy, right? That's him basically reassuring Yamato and Momonosuke that he got this. And in a way, like I mentioned, Yamato being possibly the worst person that could pair with Momonosuke, not in this situation, right? I was wrong about that. And this situation is perfect because she knows Kaido. Because she knows Kaido, she can teach Momonosuke a few things. And again, this goes back to experiences. So that was crazy for me to say. It's perfect in this situation because she knows her father's a dragon. Momonosuke's a kid that just became an adult trying to figure out his powers as a dragon. So that's the perfect pairing for this situation, right? So that's how we got to the flame clouds thing, where she's teaching him the fundamentals of flying, where it's not just flying, like flapping your wings, skywalking. It's not that. Dragons, they conjure clouds, then they use them as footholds. So that's all you got to do. But I also like the insight she provided past that. Onigashima is crumbling. Why is Onigashima crumbling? Well, Oda's setting it up. We're in for a tizzy because Yamato is basically saying the flame clouds are unstable, saying they can't support the bedrock anymore, and it's pretty much implying Kaido's powers are weakening. We've kind of been waiting for this, right? Like the chink in the armor, like a moment where we can say, okay, damn, Kaido is wearing down. Luffy does have a chance. But there was a hint all the way back in Roof Piece when Kaido started dodging instead of taking everything, right? So there's a limit to the greatness, which we'll talk about at some point, maybe not in this video, but stop. People are starting to underestimate Kaido, talking he's the weak. What are y'all talking about? Do y'all realize everything Kaido's been through in this war? Everything he's actually taken straight up and gotten back up and whooped ass? Don't do that. But for Yamato Momonosuke, she's there to kind of place a sense of urgency on Momonosuke, telling him, hey, you got to do this. And at this point, you got under 5 minutes. So it's up to you at this point. I like how they set it up though, because if Kaido just let it go, that's disaster as well. Crush everyone in the capital, because she's explaining it, Yamato, that basically Onigashima got a bunch of stuff that could turn this island into a huge bomb. Talking about the weapons and the gunpowder. So if Kaido drops that, it doesn't matter if they try to evacuate, the people are within range. It's done for them. It's quiet for them. So at this point, Momonosuke, you gotta do what you gotta do, or else pretty much everything will be obliterated. And Momonosuke has the dumbest look on his face when Yamato is talking about it, but I mean, she's right, obviously. I mean, there's nothing we can do to dispute that or say to dispute that. She knows, she understands. She's been there her entire life. At this point, she's an advisor to Momonosuke, and I love it. I love that dynamic a lot. I love when Yamato smacked the shit out of Momonosuke though, when he was trying to tell Luffy, yo, Luffy, chill out. You can't beat Kaido yet. If you do that, then we all gonna die. But then Yamato peeped. She understands, yo, we're already asking Luffy to do something outside of plot requirements anyway. We're asking him the rest of the way to 1v1 this Yonko, right? He probably just got to Yonko caliber, just got to Yonko level. And here's your reward. You gotta beat one of them to get there, right? Which makes sense. To be the best, you gotta go through the best, even though after Luffy beats Kaido here, he's not automatically the best. Because again, we talk about what Kaido's been through. Like this thing has been through the ringer. I was gonna say man, but we still trying to figure out exactly exactly what he is, ogre, whatever, Oni. But now's his chance. 1v1 mano a mano. They're both tired because it mentioned Luffy being on his last leg, which, you know, say what you want. Luffy has been fighting throughout Onigashima. I mean, no one really on his level. Ulti, page 1, a poo. Like, there's been small things here and there, but nothing like what Kaido's gone through at all. But at the end of the day, it's war, and we here. Kaido had the numbers advantage. So at this point, if he's injured and beat up, hey man, you had a 3-1 lead. You should have closed out the series a long time ago. You said it. Luffy could have been done a long time ago. You let him live. Reverse 3-0, I'm not sure. Now, King and Zoro. Loving the hybrid form. It seems like King is using Rankaku with his wings, which is cool. Really dope. Something that I think Sanji should have been doing a long time ago with his legs because of how strong his legs are, but regardless, I digress. Yo, he sent Zoro flying to Frankie like that was his mom, bro. Zoro landed in Frankie's arms, was just like, oh man, you good, bro? And Zoro's like, man, he's pretty damn strong, but I'm not too shocked. Look at him. Look at what he wears. You gotta be strong as hell to be walking around Onigashima like that. Because if anybody say anything crazy to King, he's probably gonna kill him. You know when one of your friends are going through something and you can tell they're struggling, like they're opening a bottle, or they're trying to beat a level 9 Kazuya and Smash? I'm like, you good? You sure you don't need no help? Like, nah, I'm good. Okay, cool. I'll just watch you get your ass whooped. And I even like Oda showing the dynamic with King and Queen is still continuing. With King going as crazy with his attacks, Queen's basically saying, yo, what are you doing, bro? You almost hit my ass with all those attacks. And King, I just expected some dots, right? An ellipse, because King, that's been the most he said, right? If you go through a lot of King's panels, it's just him thinking, ... Like most of his shit. Like he has nothing to say. Strong silent type, right? If you're into BDSM typically. But anyway, I thought that interaction was really funny. But the King versus Zoro fight has gone a lot further than I thought, right? Where King's mask is already cracked coming into it. But like Katakuri, King, apparently nobody's seen his real face. It felt eerily similar, but of course King is the last of his race. So he does have a chance to be more interesting than Kat. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I'm trying to figure out exactly where Oda is going with these parallels. Of course, as a right-hand commander, somebody that's a legendary. Obviously, like the right hands, they're not getting enough credit for just how legendary they are. Marco's a legendary character. Ben Beckman is a legendary character. Katakuri is a legendary character, and King is as well. All for different reasons, but these people are at the top of the pirate world. Regardless of how you feel about them, yes, the Yonko, they're beneath them, but the Yonko, how many Yonko do you think are walking around? 4. Well, at this point, 5. Make one Goko comment, I swear to God. And these guys are their trusted advisors. Well, the second strongest on the crew, because people gonna come with semantics that are just bullshit. Well, they're the first main, and you got... Stop it. The second strongest on the crew, that's what I'm talking about. Don't mention Strusen to me because people be wildin', bro. But anyway, I think the fight has been dope so far. Like, I really want an entire chapter, Zoro versus King. Tiger Hunt, one of my favorite attacks by Zoro. But King clashing with him sent Zoro flying again. However, Zoro cut the mask off a little bit. Zoro doesn't really care about the COVID restrictions. It's just like, hey, take that mask off, playboy. Let's see what your face really looks like. I don't care if nobody's ever seen it before. They gonna see it today. But what I like about King's fighting style is that he capitalizes an opportunity. If he sees you vulnerable, he's going to react right away, which isn't really what swordsmen do, right? If it's a duel, straight up mano a mano, everything is done in the up and up. So King is trying to knock Zoro off the platform and get an easy edge guard. Hey, that attack was fantastic by Zoro to get back, to up B back to the stage. I thought that was amazing, but then he complained about it, which is weird to me. I don't understand why Zoro is saying what he's saying, which is like, what are you talking about, Zoro? We just established at the beginning of this fight that King does not care about all that. He's trying to win. He's not one of these swordsmen that's going to sit around and be like, oh, pull out your sword, young man. No, he's going to try and get a W whenever he can. But the big reveal at the end of this chapter is that King is probably black. Nah, that's not a big reveal. Is that King seems to have a tat, seems to be darker skin, some white hair, reminds you of Bullet or the blonde girl, say something like that. So now it's like, what's beneath the mask? I gotta say, there's been a certain agenda floating around on Twitter. Maybe you've heard about it. If you're a Zoro fan, I'm not gonna ask you how you feel about it because it is what it is at this point. I mean, I love Zoro, but some of these allegations are damning. If you know, you know. If you guys are interested in more, let me know if you want to know about Zoro's dark secret because it is big news, all right? But yeah, all in all, chapter's fire, right? It's fire again. It doesn't stack up to some of the other amazing chapters because it somewhat feels like setup. Feels like Oda's setting up, again, the last act. Not literally because I'm over that. Don't mention those acts to me. I don't even know what act we're in right now. I don't care, right? Doesn't matter to me. At this point, we're in the final stretch of the battle portion because with the epilogue and stuff like that, that's where we're gonna find out information, poneglyphs, backstory. Right now, we're approaching the battle climax. Again, Luffy's and Kaido's status tells me everything I need to know. They're on their last legs. Well, Kaido's on his last tail. I don't know. Maybe that's the expression. But we're at the end. We're trending towards the end. King, his mask is already gone for the most part. Queen, his ass is exposed. And we're setting up for an amazing finish, boys and girls. But give me your thoughts, guys. How do you feel about the chapter? I thought it was pretty damn good. A lot of setup, a lot of things to look forward to. Cannot wait till next week. No break. But yeah, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram, BragoD.Ace. Thank to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Guys, like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost.